Now, if you watched Monday Night Raw last night, you would have watched what I thought was a very good show, considering Monday Night Raw has been largely terrible for most of 2023, and I don't think they've had any good shows coming out of WrestleMania 39. This was probably the best Monday Night Raw in the last 6 or 7 weeks coming out of WrestleMania. Now, there was a report that Vince McMahon was backstage, and a lot of people were contributing Monday Night Raw being in Hartford, Connecticut, and it's right next to where WWE works out of Stamford, and it's an easy drive for Vince to make from Stamford or Greenwich, where he lives. Vince McMahon was backstage at Monday Night Raw, and the last time Vince McMahon was backstage at Monday Night Raw, it was the Raw after Mania, where he completely blew up the show, and it was the lowest rated Monday Night Raw in the history of the show in over 30 years. A lot of people were worried that it was going to happen again last night, but like I said, the show was actually pretty decent from Monday Night Raw as far as Monday Night Raw standards go. Now, Vince McMahon reportedly changed a significant part of the show last night on Monday night, and I'm looking at this article, and I'm looking at this report from PW Insider, and I'm asking the most important question out of all: what exactly did Vince McMahon change that he changed a significant part of Monday Night Raw? Because if you watched the show last night, it certainly felt more like a Triple H show than a Vince McMahon show. Now, there were Vince McMahon segments. There were things on the show that definitely felt like Vince had a hand in it and not Triple H. But what exactly is a significant portion of the show? Now, throughout the afternoon, this is coming from Fightful, throughout the afternoon, there were rumblings among talent that Vince McMahon would be at the show as of around 6 p.m. Many of the talent and staff hadn't seen McMahon, but did see a room being prepared for someone to work out of. That ended up being the office for Vince McMahon. PW Insider reported shortly after 6:30 Eastern that Vince McMahon was backstage at Monday Night Raw. Most of the staff and talent in attendance were not surprised by this, as Hartford is fairly a short trip from Vince, or for Vince, from where Vince lives, and most do expect him to be at the show when it's in Connecticut and places that are easily accessible for him, and most do not expect him backstage regularly, as he's been fine making changes remotely in recent weeks. For the June 5th show last night, however, Vince McMahon was in Gorilla by himself, where he was at WrestleMania as well. As of late, McMahon has been calling in changes, sometimes very close to the show. This has caused late rundowns to be passed out and some segments and matches to be nixed. We haven't heard of anything out of the ordinary, and we're told the mood was less hectic at Hartford's Raw than after the Raw after Mania. Aside from that, internal reports indicated that the Raw in Hartford was the highest grossing Raw SmackDown in the history of the market for WWE. Now, Fightful also said that they learned that Vince changed a significant portion of the show just a couple of hours before the show. The event ended up being a very positively received Raw. Again, I ask, what exactly is a significant part of the show? That's what these dirt sheets and that's what these paywalls aren't really telling you. What exactly is a significant part of the show? I would be the first to fucking tell you if Vince ruined the show and Vince blew up the show. It honestly did not feel like Vince blew up the show, and it honestly felt like whatever Triple H had in mind was what happened on the show last night. Kevin Owens and Gunther had a near 20-minute fucking great TV match. We had Kaden Carter and Katana Chance carrying Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler to a damn good tag team match in the 7 or 8 minutes that they went. Damian Priest and Seth Rollins went 20 minutes. I mean, a lot of what happened last night definitely felt like a Triple H show. Johnny Gargano got a vignette. Bronson Reed was featured. I mean, I don't understand where Vince changed a significant part of the show. If you want my honest opinion about what Vince did have a hand in, the opening segment with Seth Rollins, where he talked about Damian Priest and Finn Balor basically holding each other's jocks while they go to the bathroom in a very embarrassing moment. That's not the way a WWE World Heavyweight Champion should be talking, especially his first night out for his first title defense. And then we got the Cody Rhodes and Miz segment, which, I mean, what exactly happened there? What did that build towards? And the dialogue in that was very Vince-ish. And then we got Veer Mahan and, what's his name? Sangha with Jinder Mahal. You could see where WWE is going with that, as the rumor is WWE may have a premium live event in India in September. So you know that narrative is going to continue. And they squashed Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin. I'm sure Vince McMahon was all over that, as well as he doesn't like Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin for whatever reason, and has been so against reuniting the Hurt Business. So you could see what Vince did, and you can see what Triple H did, but it was largely and mostly a Triple H show. So, you know, when these dirt sheets come out with these reports, PW Insider Elite and Fightful, and they ask you to pay $5 here and $5 there, they're not asking the most important question. They're not giving you the most important answer to the question. What exactly did Vince change? Meanwhile, I'm sitting here, and I can pinpoint blind what Vince and Triple H do individually on WWE television. Like I said before, it's 50-50. Vince has ideas, Triple H has ideas. We get the best of both ideas. Most of what Vince comes up with is not very good. So I'm really set on that being the case here. More so on Monday than it is on Friday. But I would love to know what Triple H is capable of if he has 100% of the control of WWE television creatively. CM Punk. Bad news for CM Punk. He has not helped boost ticket sales for AEW Collision outside of Chicago. The debut is on June 17th, Chicago, Illinois, at the United Center. We will see the return of CM Punk back to AEW television. I will be live on that Saturday with Jesse right here on the podcast. But then Collision takes a turn to Canada. We got the Scotiabank Center in Toronto. That is during Forbidden Door weekend. By the way, Bryan Danielson, Okada, Will Ospreay, and Kenny Omega official for Forbidden Door. Oh my goodness. I am fucking so happy. I can't wait for that Okada and Bryan Danielson match. June 29th is in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. July 8th, Regina, Saskatchewan, Canada. Then we got Calgary, Alberta, Canada on July 15th, July 22nd at the Prudential Center in Newark, New Jersey, and then August 12th at the Greensboro Coliseum in Greensboro, North Carolina. So CM Punk is not really moving tickets outside of the Chicago June 17th date at the United Center. Dave Meltzer and Brian Alvarez, who I honestly think should stay away from all Punk narrative, to be quite honest with you, mentioned this on The Observer, and Meltzer says, and I quote, "So a bunch of on-sale dates for this week, so that'll be interesting. You know they are not." Brian Alvarez then says, "These Collision numbers outside of the United Center." Meltzer says, "Yeah, they are bad." Alvarez, "Not good." Meltzer then goes on to say, "And Punk has been moving tickets in Chicago, but not in the other places, not in Toronto, which is not a good sign because Toronto is one of the greatest markets in North America. They sold out Forbidden Door in a snap of the finger. And then for the Collision show, there's still under 2,000 tickets in the Scotiabank Arena. And you know, Regina, I was told ahead of time that, you know, Regina and Saskatchewan, actually Dynamite, they are doing very, very tough. Or it is very, very tough because in the summer, people in Saskatchewan, they don't get good weather very much. When they do get good weather, they head out of town and go to the lake and things like that, and it's basically difficult. They've really picked a bad time to go to Saskatchewan, and also, you know, aside from Toronto and Winnipeg, they haven't really, you know, had their Canadian stuff. They're not as hot. In Winnipeg, obviously, because they have Jericho and Kenny Omega from Winnipeg, and Edmonton will do very well. I mean, it's not through the roof or anything. It's about 5,000 tickets sold, but they'll sell more late. I think Edmonton will do very well as well. Calgary, I had people in Calgary tell me that one's a little bit struggling for the Saturday night, but I think, you know, the Owen Hart tournament, I think they should do okay. But Hamilton and Regina are going to be very, very tough. They're like 700 tickets for the Collision in Hamilton, and I think also part of it is that, you know, people in Canada, they only get Dynamite on television. They don't get Rampage, and there's no announcements of Collision, and there's been no announcements of Collision for the UK either. People keep asking me, still haven't heard anything on that, end quote. I mean, this is what AEW rather is going to be running into. I mean, They want a Saturday night in the middle of the summer debut for Collision. And this is going to be their Saturday night show moving forward. It's the summertime, and people are going to want to be out. I know this is going to be under the microscope. I know people are going to be dissecting this shit. They're going to be all over the ratings, and if it fails in the ratings, it's going to be the fucking brunt of jokes all over social media. I get it. It's going to be a tough sell for AEW and Tony Khan, and Tony Khan knows that. He's already said as much personally at the last post-show scrum that they did for Double or Nothing. He knows it. It's going to be tough. Summertime, other competition, UFC, NBA Finals, MLB, college football, this and that, especially when we get into the football season. It's going to be tough with the NFL season. It's going to be tough. There will be preemptions. It's not going to be live every week. There will be some weeks where it's taped. They got WWE premium live events to go up against, major UFC shows, you name it. Summertime, people are going to want to be out. Nobody's going to want to watch pro wrestling on a Saturday night. I'm the only fucking geek here going to be watching pro wrestling because it's my job, unfortunately. But it's going to be tough. And in Canada, like Dave Meltzer says, they're not getting nice weather. And when they do get nice weather, they're not home. They want to enjoy the nice weather while they got it. They got to go to the lake. They got to do this. They want to be out and about and do what they got to do. It is what it is. It is what it is. CM Punk, I'm not going to really blame CM Punk. I'm not going to call CM Punk a failure because you can't sell tickets in Canada. It's ridiculous. Most of these states are Canada. I'm not going to blame CM Punk for that. But Collision in general is going to be a tough sell. It's just a Saturday night and just the way it's going to be. And the reason why Tony Khan has this Saturday night show, I said this yesterday on the Twitter Spaces that I did with Ticket Drew. AEW having a Saturday night show is more nostalgia, in my honest opinion, than anything, because Tony Khan grew up watching WCW Saturday Night and WWE Main Event, right? WWF Main Event. Those were big Saturday night shows. And I think AEW wants to have that Saturday night presence because it hasn't really, been felt in pro wrestling on a Saturday night for many, 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 many years. So I think it's more nostalgia than anything. Just look at the Collision logo. It's a throwback on the WCW Nitro logo. So you know that this show is mired in nostalgia and throwback. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. But I'm not going to blame CM Punk. I'm not going to sit here and blame CM Punk for not helping boost ticket sales because it's in the middle of the fucking summer and people would rather be at the fucking beach. Give me a break. That's just another observer narrative about, oh, look, CM Punk. It's going to cause the rift in the community, and it's going to cause the observer to have yet another target on their back because they're basically saying, look, CM Punk is here. He's not moving tickets for AEW. And look, he's not really as big of a draw as he thinks he is or the company thinks he is. The narrative against CM Punk on that side needs to come to an end, man. You're not doing any favors for yourself whatsoever. Anyway, guys, I will have more news throughout the day. There's tons going on in the world of professional wrestling. If you guys want to keep up to date, keep it right here on the podcast. Follow me on social media at JD from NY206. That's Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Cameo. Please hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on the bell for notifications. And make sure you guys go check out all the other content on the channel. Plenty of it. We were live from Monday Night Raw last night. Go check out that post-show live stream on the homepage. And hit that thumbs up. Let's try for 1,000 likes minimum right here on Off the Script. Guys, I'll be back with more news and rumors throughout the day and throughout the week right here on OTS. See you guys later.